Welcome back to Investing, our second phase in our three-phase journey in wealth creation. This episode today, we are going to explore investing as the middle phase after saving and preceding wealth creation after the next 3-second commercial break. We begin by defining or understanding what investing is. And investing will be the act of assigning resources to opportunities, vehicles, or activities with the aim of generating positive returns. The first item is resources, and these are items of value. And we'll have three distinct resources that must be collectively assigned to investment, assigned to that vehicle or activity. And that is money that we have accumulated through our savings. Number two will be time. It will require time. And number three is strength. The three, time, strength, and money, will be assigned as resources to our activities, to our opportunities, to our vehicles in order to generate positive returns. The vehicle, opportunity, activity, these will refer to three categories of vehicles. One are the currency denominated vehicles. Those are stocks, the bonds, treasury bills, and the like. Assets that are denominated in a currency form. Number two will have items of value. Things that you can buy with the hope of selling them at a higher value. Those are commodities. And number three will be assets that you will acquire because of what they can produce, such as land. Then with that, we are looking at the third item in investing, a positive return. Meaning that if we are getting a negative return, it will require the effort of time. It's a question of managing the actions that you take. And that calls for understanding of the different vehicles, the different assets into which we have put our money. And that refers us back to the first resource, which has time and strength, and it's the one that accumulated the money. And that resource is you. You are the greatest asset in your wealth creation journey. Very important. The individual, you are the greatest asset, and therefore you need to take time to invest in yourself. Remember, at the end of investing, we are looking at assets generating income, and these incomes will be reinvested or plowed back for investments in order to acquire the time compounding. Because to compound is to reinvest or plow back the returns from the investment. So as we delay the consumption of the returns and plow them back to acquire more assets. So the first asset that generated returns that we accumulated was you. So you need to spend time in acquiring new skills, new knowledge that will work towards you getting a promotion if you are working or you are in a job, because the promotion brings in more money. Knowledge and skill that go towards you doing a side hustle that brings in more money. Acquire skills and knowledge that shape you to know the different ways you can generate more money passively or aggressively. then by so doing, we will have generated an income. The same as we would invest in a bond in the hope of generating an extra income as the interest or the coupon. We will invest in stocks with the hope generating positive returns in periodic dividends and capital gains. So, having invested your time, you are periodically to determine your net worth. Academically, net worth would be the difference or the balance of your assets, net your liability, after deducting liabilities. But in actual sense of investing, net worth goes beyond your balance of assets. Net worth will also look at your skills and knowledge. In net worth, you look at the people or your influence. We will look at the people in your followers in Twitter, your followers in all social media. That is level influence, because that is a group that you can monetize, because your net worth is the balance of resources that you are utilizing to generate more income or money. When we are looking at your net worth, we must look at your health. So you must spend money, energy to improve or work on your health. That is part of your net worth, because a sick you will not be able to generate more money. So as part of investing, we are investing in you in skills, knowledge, and health as part of your net worth, because as we do in businesses, we have practices that we periodically carry out in businesses. And one is doing the financial position of the enterprise periodically. That gives us the net worth. We also conduct the reconciliations of the bank records of the institution, and the same need to apply to you as an individual. You need to determine these two things, and purposely on net worth. We will also be looking at your incomes and expenses, but strategically for your net worth, because once you invest, you are acquiring assets that are going to build and increase your cash flows. So you have to determine your level, your growth, your net growth. There's a way of evaluating your progress. Once we are done with that, we have to look at the kind of or the categories of assets that you are going to put your money into. And we have three categories. You are going to acquire assets or put your money and time in opportunities that give you growth. Number two, we would look at opportunities that give us both growth and income. And number three, we will look at opportunities that give us aggressive growth. Based on those categories, the choice on whether we are going to put our money in mutual funds, whether we are going to put our money in unit trusts, whether we are going to put our money in stocks, whether we are going to use index funds, is dependent on a personal tailored option on how you'd want to grow your wealth. Remember, before we even touch on wealth, wealth will be the accumulated assets. The accumulated assets. So we are in a journey of building assets that should be giving us cash flows. A point to note is that, or a download from what we had covered under our previous video of savings, is that at the point of saving, we are not looking at the return amount, because our amounts that we are investing are still small, and therefore when the rate is applied on the object of the amount that we have or accumulated, the resultant return amount is immaterial, cannot replace any of our living expenses. Because at the end of the day, the whole process of investing and building wealth for cash flows, we are looking at a point in time where the total generated cash flows or returns from our wealth pool of assets shall be enough to replace our active sources of income so that at that chosen point in time, we can concentrate on things that we love. A journey of replacing our active incomes with passive incomes in order to enjoy life. I'm running short of using the word retirement because that retirement is relative. And retirement, we can look at it in different ways. And prudence is when you look at retirement in its worst scenario. And this is when we talk of employment. If one is employed and you come, a point of retirement will be a point where the employer deems your asset value to have diminished so much such that you have to be laid off. Because if your retirement wasn't on account of your diminishing value, then your job would also be scrapped as you retire. But your job remains permanent. You are released to go home, and another person is brought in to replace you and assume the same office and duties that you are performing. So retirement need not necessarily be that point as defined in law. In our jurisdiction, you retire at 60. 60 in essence, at 60 years, there is so much that visits a 60-year-old person in terms of health issues. Health was one of the things that we were investing into in order to make us able to generate active incomes. You cannot enjoy your returns out of investments when you are tied or held in an unhealthy, aching body. So retirement should be a point in time where you would choose to start enjoying your returns, to start enjoying your passive incomes, to start doing things that you love. We know what people go through. We have all these people in the village, in our surrounding of those age. But most important is looking at it that during savings, we are not looking at the amount of return. We are looking at piling our money as packing our money in preparation for investing. This should not be confused with the opportunities, the account, or the vehicle into which we are packing our money. Because the opportunities of the vehicles that we pack our money into, some would give us what would require at investing stage and also at saving stage. They can combine the two. But on your side as a saver, as an investor, the time you are saving, you will not garner what you require or what you're looking for at investing stage. At accumulation stage, even if the opportunity where you are parking your money gives you what you would look for when investing, you are not supposed to set your mindset on the return amount. It is about stacking, packing, accumulating your capital in the preparation for saving, for investing. Then at investing point, this is a time now we want to allocate what we have accumulated. We want to assign this money to specific activities, to specific opportunities, to specific investment vehicles in a view of generating a positive return. So if the return is not positive, then that calls for our actions, which are decisions, to manage that opportunity in order to ensure we are getting a positive return. While we are at that point, and having looked at investing and return, we should not forget the question of inflation at saving point. Because at investing point, it's no longer about inflation. We are looking for higher value that will start giving us growth. So the rate of return that we are expecting at investing stage should be so high compared to inflation that we will have a margin above the inflation rate, which now gives us the growth. Because the return that you get equal to the inflation rate, that one compensates the loss of value of the amount of money that you are packing. But what is above that compensation rate, that is what will give us growth, a return. But the two levels shall be reinvested for compounding. And the compounding is not short term. Compounding will not be achieved in the short term. Compounding effects shall be felt in the long term. So saving is a long-term activity that supports investing and wealth creation. That is to say, we never stop saving. We shall save on time, because time is money, as it is said. We shall save on our energy, and we shall save on our cash flows. Then put them into opportunities that give us positive returns. We are investing our time and energy back into ourselves as the primary asset, as the primary investment is yourself. That reminds me, those who target their primary investment as their children, woe unto them. And that comes in our next video. Thank you for watching. Our next episode will be looking at the accumulated assets, that is wealth. If you like this kind of information and you are new to my channel, I will kindly request you to subscribe and hit on the notification button so that you get notified when this kind of information has been released. Share this content, interact in the comment section.